Right, I'm here with Andrew King, our new mayor. A couple of 3 weeks into the gig, and
Still in the honeymoon, everybody?
still in the honeymoon. Yeah, and in the media we've had a few articles about changes you're making to how council meetings run, the committees, and talk about bringing in as needed committees and working groups for specific issues. And I just wanted to ask you, basically, what are the changes you're making? Can you, from the horse's mouth, can we get some clarifications? What sort of changes you're going to be making, and what can people expect with these?
Okay, so what it's about, what's driving this is transparency. I want every councillor involved in every meeting, and I want every meeting that we have in the chamber to be an official meeting, to have minutes taken, and where everyone's involved. So there's no subcommittees. What we've had in the last 3 years is subcommittees with groups of 4 or 5 on a subcommittee,
Okay.
getting direction, and then coming to full council with it. But the issue that I see with that system is that the rest of council got left behind because they weren't aware of where it was going and where it had come from. And I believe that with all 13 members involved in an official meeting for each thing that we discuss, it'll be far more transparent and everybody will be a part of what's going on. So that's what the concept is behind it. So the heart of the background, the heart of the reason is that I want inclusiveness, I want transparency, and I want everyone to be involved. So what we've done, instead of having 2 subcommittees, we've got 3 full committees. Instead of having 2, as we had in the last council, we're having 3. We're meeting more often. We're meeting for a full council meeting every 2 weeks. The first meeting will be more of a formal meeting. The second meeting will be more of a meeting where we, more informal, where we get briefed, where we learn things, but the media are welcome to be there, the public are welcome to be there, and so that there's nothing in behind closed doors. It's all out in the open.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the risk is here that people won't always get their own way, but at least everybody's involved and everybody has a say. And what I believe is more important is the way we get to the outcome than the outcome itself. So that's what's driving me, and that's what's behind it. We've got to have proper process and have a transparent process to get there, rather than and be open about it with everybody's involvement. So so you've got 3 main subcommittees, 3 main committees: finance, community, and growth and infrastructure.
Okay.
And then we go from there. If we do need any smaller groups, we'll have. We won't have the advisory panels that had been running all year round like we've had in the past. We'll set up a working group with externals, the best that we can get, the best who make themselves available to be a part of those working groups. They'll come in, and it'll be for a specific project. It'll have a start date and a finish date, and we'll get to where we want to go, and that will just come through to council then as the outcome for then council to fully discuss, and with full council then. So the model's different. We haven't got ongoing advisory panels. We're getting working groups together for a specific job and then shut it down afterwards. If we need to address something once a year, we'll re-establish that working group for that project, specifically for what we want to discuss, and then come back to full council, so that it'll have no binding power. It'll just come through with where they got to, with experts from outside of council being able to be involved as well as elected members, and they'll present their findings back to council.
Oh, that sounds interesting. And the piece about the council meetings, that'll make it more interesting for people like me who like to, when they can, get along to them and keep track of what's going on. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll also mean that everything's recorded and everything will go up online. Whereas in the past, the working groups and the subcommittees that wasn't recorded. So if you
No.
want to go back and have a look at how we got to a decision, what the discussion was, where we got there, that will all be there, recorded on YouTube for anyone to go back and look at.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the things that most bugged people to some degree and interested others was how did you come to a decision, and to some degree who voted on different issues, which I know came up over the elections, was who voted on what, because that would influence some people's decision making process. But the big thing I think is how you come to a decision on something, how it's discussed. Are all the points from the public point of view, are all the points that they or us think should be discussed, have those been discussed and covered properly? And I think this system looks like it could cater to that quite definitely. And the ad hoc groups for specific issues having start and end dates, I think that's a good idea too, because it's basically like setting goals. This group's here to discuss this and report back to council. It needs to be done by this date, and we can make a decision.
And it also leaves those groups open to bring in outsiders, people who are very good in that area, to come in and be part of that group. So this is not a part of cutting people out who are experts in the field. We want those people who are experts in their fields to be available and to be a part of it. We want the best people to be a part of these working groups,
Okay.
as well as elected members.
Okay, that's cool. Any other things you want to mention going forward from this short period as mayor, and what you expect over the next little while, just before we finish?
No, it's just exciting. This was a part of my one of the foundations. I had 3 foundations that I set up on. One was truth and transparency, one was growth, and the third one was less red tape. And this one's about covering off the truth and transparency. And that's what this is all about, is having everybody involved, having the public, having everything recorded, having the public being able to come to the meetings and be a part of it. And as I say, the outcome is secondary to how we got there. We've got to make sure that we use the proper processes to get to the outcome.
Yes.
And the outcome may not always be what everybody wants, including myself, and I know and I understand that. But the process is what's important.
Okay, so you realise that sometimes the outcome's not going to be quite what you want, and that's
exactly
you're fine with that.
And
Okay.
the process is more important.
Sounds like the old saying of the journey is more important than the destination, which I quite like the idea of that.
Well, this is democracy, and we don't want to be meddling with it.
No.
We want to let democracy do its job in a transparent, truthful way.
And the one thing I can't show people, because I'm not going to move the camera, is the view you've got here is better than your business office. It's a nice view up here.
Yeah, I'm not staying in the office. It's I want to sort of tucked away in a corner of the ninth floor up here, so I've asked to be moved over close to my elected members. So I'll be right next to the deputy mayor and all the other elected members, and that will be happening over the next few weeks. It's a much smaller office, but I don't need this much room, and there are other people who are on this floor who a lot of people cram into small rooms and they need the room. So the chief executive will come into this room, they'll go into the chief executive's room, which is bigger, and I'll go into one of the other smaller offices. But the reason I'm doing that is because I want to be close to the other elected members, who are the key. They're the people that I want to be.
That sounds more communal and far more interactive, because it means you'll be in the real world a lot more, being that close to the other elected members.
I'm only one of them. I'm only one vote. There's 13 of us. We all have one vote. Yes, it is my job to set some direction and some leadership, but it's also my job to bring the other 12 members with me. We all need to go on this together. That's
good, and that I suppose that really emphasises the fact that you're part of a team with your shift of office. It does show that you're more of a team. You're one of the members in the team, which I think's probably good. How much the public will be aware of that, but I'm not sure. But the other councillors will probably feel you're more of part of the team, which will be good. Which I think, that'd be more inclusive. Yeah. Oh, well, thanks very much for your time. I know you've got a busy day, and if you thought the elections were busy, it's just started getting busy.
That's right, yeah. And once again, people who are watching, a big call out, big shout out to Lance. He does this as a volunteer. He does this because he's passionate about this type of thing, as well as film and video and photography. He's also passionate about politics, and it's because of people like Lance that we get this freelance type live streaming going on. And so, Lance, I know you get a little bit uncomfortable when I say this to you, Lance, but well done, Lance. Good on you.
Oh, thanks for the recognition. It's weird getting recognition, but it's sort of nice, I suppose. Yeah, I just enjoy doing it, and yes, to some degree, it's a way to keep you guys accountable, because there's now video record of what you've said through the election, what you've said over this and any other ones I do, and people, if they really want to, next election can go and pull those to pieces and run down the list of what you did and didn't do, and other councillors did and didn't do, and pull that to pieces at the next election, and really give you a good evaluation as to whether you accomplished what you said you would. Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. Yes. Again, comes back to democracy. If people can see what's happening, there's a record of it, and those things happen, then people know they chose the right people. Yes. If they don't happen, then they know they chose the wrong people. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, thanks very much.
Yeah, well done, Lance. Thank you.